everybody, and welcome back to another video. I have been waiting to do this video for a while, and I mean a while, I mean since Sunday. I've had all the books ready to go, and they then decided to, some were here, some of these were at Griffin, some of them were in between, meaning in my car, and I just haven't gotten to it till today, because today I will be doing my February TBR and also making a future announcement about something that I'm very thrilled to share with you guys. So if you are ready for some book content, please continue watching. Before I get into my TBR of what I'm reading, what I did read, I failed to mention to you guys from last year, 2025, that I actually finished a book before December ended, and it was my bonus book that put me over my 30 limit. So I had read 30 books. I had gotten this book and then read it as 31, and I didn't get to put it in a video because I wasn't filming any more videos for the year. And then January came along and I had it in my pile for my free little libraries, and I just saw it like a couple days ago and realized I never did a full review on it, but you guys have probably seen it in a video somewhere. So here's the book. This is Foster by Claire Keegan. It was published September 2nd, 2010. It is a novella, meaning that it is a smaller story. This would have cost $20 at a store, and I actually got this at the lodge that we stayed at for Christmas with my family. It is rated 4.3 stars on Goodreads, and it is 89 pages. I did finish this on December 28th of last year, and I rated it 4 stars. And the reason that is, well, I really liked the story. I loved the whole plot. It's about a girl who is temporarily placed with a man and a woman who live on a farm while her mother is pregnant and is going into labor, and she has a lot of siblings, so they needed to take some hands off, and so she was the one. And she like starts to learn about life and about being proper and being a girl and stuff, and about being loved by actual parents in this little short story. And I absolutely loved it. And as y'all know, the only reason I would ever rate a book, like an adult book, a 4 and not a 5 is because there's language in it. And of course, you know, this book had some language in it, but it was a great story, and I can't wait to share it with somebody else when I put it into a free little library. I do have another book written by Claire Keegan on my TBRs. Actually, I think my very first book on my TBR list on Goodreads. By the way, if you're not friends with me on Goodreads, feel free to follow me. I will have the link for it down below, so you guys can go in there and friend me. We can, give each other book recommendations. We can look at each other's lists and stuff like that. Her other book is Small Things Like These. It's green and it's like snowy and like Christmassy. So if I ever find that book, or if I ever get the book, I will be just as excited to read it as I was with this one. And now for the review of the books that I read in January. In January, I read a total of 4 books and partial book, because I'll get to that book in a little bit. 2 children middle grade books, and then actually technically it's 3, but the third one felt more adult. Like, so technically it would be like 2 children middle grade and then 2 adult, with the third one being an adult. The first one that I actually finished this year is this one right here. This was the very first book I finished of 2026. This is Real Friends by Shannon Hale and Luen Pham, published May 2nd, 2017. It is a graphic novel. It would cost $22 at the store, but I got this from the discard from the school library. A lot of these books, children's books that you see, they're most likely from the school. The school does weed through a lot of books just to keep up to date, and then they allow staff to go through and take books home with them if they so choose to. Um, this is rated 4.2 stars on Goodreads, and it is 213 pages. I finished this January 10th, 2026, and I rated it a full 5 stars. And this is a story about, actually, about Shannon. This is her. And when she first started going to school and making friends, and the ups and downs of being in a friend group and not being in a friend group, and girl drama. And I rated a full 5 stars because I was able to relate to the book. The graphic novel was actually super easy to read, as this is probably the first graphic novel that I have read probably in many years, and it won't stop there because I also have the sequel to Real Friends, because there's 2 more, and I can't wait to read that one as well. The next book that I completed was another children's book. This is Sadako and the Thousand Paper Cranes. I have it written wrong on here. By Eleanor Hoare. Published in 1977, or that's at least what the copyright says. This is a children's historical book based off a true story. It would have cost $5, but of course I got this from school. And it's rated 4.1 stars on Goodreads, and it's 65 pages. And I finished this January 17th, 2026. I only rated it a 3 though, and let me tell you, this is a story based off a true story of a girl who, she's like from after the atomic bomb, and she ends up getting sick with cancer, leukemia, and spends her life, or what little life she has, in the hospital, and she makes paper crayons in the hopes that she will get better. And the reason that I rated it 3 stars is because this book seems highly inspirational for young children, but to be honest with you, I think Sadako is kind of a brat. And I don't know if that's just me as an adult or if that's just the way I think. But the way that she acts, both inside and outside the hospital, she acts very bratty and very selfish. Not to say that having cancer is selfish, but it's just everything that she goes through is kind of bratty. And I still would recommend this for a kid to read, but maybe not if they think that the kid is kind of bratty. So this is the first adult book that I finished. I remember this from January. This is Accidental by Alex Richards, which I just recently found out. I don't know why I didn't look at the picture or think about the picture in the back. Alex Richard is a female, not a male. This was published July 7th, 2020, so during the pandemic. It is a YA fiction. It would have cost $18 in the store, but I got it at a free little library in Hartford. It's 3.7 stars on Goodreads. It is 368 pages, and I finished it January 28th of this year, and I rated it 4 stars. I really enjoyed this story. This is about a girl who finds out, she meets her dad. She lives with her grandparents. They adopted her when her mom died, and her dad appears to her as she's like 16 and tells her that it's her fault that her mother died, that she shot her mother when she was just a baby. And then she has to go through the recovery and the mental health that comes along with children gun violence, with how it feels knowing that people know it, and dealing with friends who may be for you or against you, dealing with a boyfriend that you just get to know how he feels about that. And it was very realistic. Once again, would have rated it 5 if there was no language in it. but of course, there's there's not many books that are like this out there that don't have language in it. Is the adaptation book of the X-Men movie, like the 2004 one or 2003. I can't remember what X-Men came out. Uh, so this is what this is, and this is by Russian Smith. Um, it was published in 2000. Okay, the movie came out like around there. I don't apparently know how to read. This is my first action book or superhero book. It would have cost $13 in the store, but of course I got it from school. It's rated 4 stars on Goodreads and is 256 pages. And of course, I finished this just in time on January 31st, and I actually had like 10 chapters to go. On January 31st, I still had to read, and I just plunked it out and finished it, and I rated it 5 stars. There was no language, which was great. I had not seen the movie yet, and I really enjoyed all the details and all the fighting scenes. And obviously, I'm a Marvel's fan and a like Star Wars fan, so of course I would like this. And since it was my first time reading a genre like this, I didn't know what to expect, but I really think I like action. I might consider finding more action books like this to be able to read it. And I also like the size of this book. It fits super well in my bag, and I would definitely recommend this to anybody who wants to experience reading an action or a superhero book. Before I get into my actual TBR for February, I know so much is going on, and I have like 3 stacks still to go. If you remember this book here, Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas, I am on chapter 6. And I'm actually going to be not DNRing it per se, but I'm going to be taking a little breather from it. This is a fantasy book, and I struggle really hard with reading fantasy just because there's so many creatures, so many different elements that go into a fantasy book. And Sarah J. Maas, her book so far has not developed a story yet per se, just like the outside of a plot, and it's really slow and really painful to read right now and very tiring. I have not really wanted to pick up this brick of a book since I got to chapter 6. And so this will be put on a back burner. I might make this into a book that I just read in one whole month by itself. I'm not sure yet if I will come back to this or when it is, but know that this book is still a work in progress, that my Goodreads is not glitching on the currently reading, that it is there. I just have to take a break from it. Now we are moving on to my actual physical February TBR. I am currently going to be reading one children's book and then kind of 3-ish adult books, but that could change throughout February here as you will listen to my announcement later. So for my children's book for February, I have this book right here. This is Drama by Raina Telgemeier. Don't scribble me on that. It was published September 1st of 2012. So this book is from my childhood, and I did read this book multiple times and check it out of the library multiple times, and I just wanted to add this as a point to my Goodreads and read it again. This would have cost $11, but I got it from a free little library in Pewaukee. It is rated 4.1 stars. It is 233 pages, and this little bookmark was actually inside it when I went to the free little library. I'm assuming that the free little library that is there, because of how many books are in there that are very kid themed, is that the house where the little library is, there's a daughter or a child that lives there that likes to contribute to this library. And so I will have some fun reading this one. This one will definitely go by fast. The next one, so this is gonna be a half book. When I mean a half book, I mean I probably will read part of it in February and part of it in March. And if you haven't watched my last video, this was in my last video and I talked about it. So this is Becoming Better Grown-Ups by Brad Montague, published March 31st, 2020, so right at the beginning of the pandemic. This is considered a self-help book. It would have cost $27, but I got it for $8. I think I got this either at the bins or I got this from Goodwill. I can't remember which. Is rated 4.3 stars on Goodreads and 320 pages. And the cover here is wooden like a children's book, but on the inside there's like different stories that are illustrated differently from a child all the way to a senior citizen. And I've been wanting to read this for a very long while, and it's been sitting in a box waiting for me to read it. And so I'm going to be reading half and half, and you'll see the reason I'm reading this half and half in a little bit. I know we're getting to the announcement, and I'm very excited to share it with you guys. You just gotta wait a little bit longer. Right here is this book, Summer Night, and Then Comes the Night, by Jean Clement Stefanson. I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly. It was published in 2005. It is literary fiction. I'm going to stumble over that word many times. This is my actual first literary fiction book, and so this is another genre that I will be going off of my genre list of genres to try and read. It would have been 27 books, but I found this in a free little library in home, and it's rated 3.9 stars on Goodreads, and it is 246 pages. And this is basically a book about an Icelandic village and the people who live in it and their stories and how they live life. And I'm taking a guess, if I remember correctly, the author was also from there. And so this book, it's been a slow run. As you can tell, this is where my bookmark is. This is where I am right now. It's been a little difficult and slow going because of, first of all, the audiobook. The guy reads really, really slow. And the stories that he is sharing, they're not exactly very entertaining for me. So you would understand why I say that I'm checking literary fiction off my list of books to read, but I might not, read it again. I'm trying to put this book back together here as we speak because I have about 28 more pages until I meet my goal for this week to read. And then my next book here, my last book for February, supposedly that I am reading, is We Should Hang Out Sometime by Josh Sandquist. It was published December 23rd, 2014. It is a memoir based off a true story, which is the author. He is a YouTuber. He is an amputee YouTuber, public speakers, thing like that. Would have cost $18, but I found this at a free little library in Pewaukee. It is 3.7 stars on Goodreads and 326 pages. This is a true story about Josh and how he found love. He had never had a girlfriend before, and he goes through the statistics of why he's never had a girlfriend and why certain girls didn't like him and things like that. I was expecting it to be a little bit more romantic, so I was trying to pick a romantic book for February. For right now, it's not really fitting into that category, and I feel a little awkward that for the month of February, I don't really have a gushy romantic book to read, more of like college reading books, but that's okay because you're about to see the next part. Here is gonna be more children's books. So of course you would know that I work for a school, and the library likes to weed through books, and I'm able to pick them out and use them. And I don't know where some of these ones came from, but I know they were available to take, and I took them. And so I decided for this stack that I have here that I wanted to give it a try and read without an audiobook. I know, very shocking of me to not read without an audiobook, and actually DNRing some books before even giving them a second glance because I couldn't get an audiobook for them. But I feel like with children's book, because of the one book that I picked up today, that it might be time for me to be able to face my fears of thinking that I can't read without an audiobook and actually try. So these are the 4 that I'm going to give a try. Obviously, they are from elementary school, and they have like a middle grade kind of feeling to them. One of them is a graphic novel, so it should be pretty easy. The first one here is 5 Worlds, The Sand Warrior. I don't know what this is about. I actually just flipped through it when I was going through the free little libraries and switching books out. And so I am kind of excited to see how this one goes. I had another one too, but I switched that out for this one. It's weird. This one was in a free little library, you guys. Next one. This is the one that inspired me to want to read. By the way, this graphic novel had like a whole bunch of authors, so I didn't read it off. This one inspired me to think about that. This is Fish in a Tree by Linda Molly Hunt. I don't know. This book is about a girl who can't read necessarily, and she tries to hide the fact that she can't read by having intrusive outbursts in class and being a troublemaker. And then she moves to a new school, and she continues to try to do that to show people that she's actually smart, and her teacher and people that she meets, some of them see what's actually underneath and try to help her and realize that she's not so bad with reading and being able to help her. And so I'm excited for this one. I thought that was pretty cool. Next one is When Friendship Followed Me Home, a novel by Paul Griffin. I'm taking these 2 that I have here. I didn't read the jackets of what they actually are. I'm taking This Has to Do Something with a Dog and finding friendship with it. So it should be pretty easy to read. Seems like a pretty decent book. And then the last one for this goal trial is The 14th Goldfish, Believe in the Impossible / Possible by Jennifer L. Holm. Another fish one says, I took my goldfish home and named it Goldie, like every other kid in the world who thought they were being ordinary. But it turns out that Goldie was kind of ordinary. I'm sorry, not ordinary, original. But turns out that Goldie was kind of original because Goldie didn't die. That's quite interesting. This is going to be quite interesting. There's a lot of fish on these pages, and this one's a little bit smaller, so we will see how this one goes. And now for the announcement you all have been waiting for. I am super excited to share this with you guys. I have been thinking about this since last month, and I have not taken action on it until today when I asked some people, especially people who may watch me in general and close friends, and asked them if they thought this may be a good idea for me. So working as a SPED 8, I help a lot with kids in being able to learn how to do reading, to do math, to learn how to write their ABCs. And one thing that I have always thought about from me to them is, what if they don't want to read or they really do struggle with reading? And this is where the thought process of like inspiring like influencers out there came into play. I have been watching Meet Me in the Media Center. She's a middle school librarian who does a lot of she does the book return game and shows off books that she has to inspire kids to read. And I also thinking of like Miss Rachel and her educational show and how she works things out. And the announcement is I am making a side channel or a second channel. Now you may say, Hannah, isn't this technically your second channel? And I would have to say kind of yes, but my first channel I haven't used it in like over a decade. And so I am considering that to maybe become even private at this point. And this being my main channel for book content that may be more towards high school and adults, and my new one being towards children who struggle to read, want to be read to, want to follow along with me while I read it in the form of an audiobook, or even special needs people who just like to have a good time. It's from children all the way down to like as almost 2 years old, all the way to adults, somewhere up in any range, because sometimes adults like to feel nostalgic. The link for my new channel will be down below. I have not posted anything on it. It is called Miss Hannah's Reading Corner. My students call me Miss Hannah, but I prefer to just go by Hannah. And so I will be on there probably once or twice a week reading and sharing a book, whether it is a picture book or a chapter book. Not big thick chapter books like this, not this kind of thick a book. I don't think they're more than over 100 or maybe less than 200 pages for chapter books, to help children who need help reading or would like to listen to something in the reading criteria. So here are my options of what I have already for picture books and chapter books to go in there that I am choosing from. I am going to eventually put a poll up. If you are friends with me on Instagram or any social media, I will be putting a poll out there for which should I start with first, if I should start with picture book or chapter book, to see where we should start. And the first time that I should be posting after an intro video will probably be on Valentine's Day. So it's a Valentine's Day gift to you guys. If you guys would like to go ahead and pre-subscribe, or if you know somebody who may benefit from this, let them know and send them the link, because I would really appreciate it in advance. So for the chapter books that I have, I got these today. Well, except for one of them. I have a simplified version of Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. I was going to just put this back in the free little library, but then this dawned on me, and I thought this may be a little easier to be able to just read. I have A Wrinkle in Time. I know that there are a lot of students lately who have been into Stranger Things, and I know this book goes slightly over 200 pages, so if I were to do this, I may or may not have to do it in a very long video or as a two-parter. I know that chunking plays along in there. I also have the classic Stuart Little. I've actually never read this book as a child, so this will definitely be on my, actually all these will be on my TBR challenge. I have Charlotte's Web. They're currently reading this and doing a whole unit based off Charlotte's Web at school, so it surprised me when I picked this book up that they don't have this for the library. And then this one, which is considered newer, more modern, that I have is Whatever After Two Peas in a Pod. I have seen this in the media center's return game, and I thought this might be a little fun to try out. This is not the first book. This is the 11th book, so if I read this one, it will probably be later down the road after I get the first ones. And then for the picture books, and this is the last pile that I will be sharing with you guys of books for this video. I know it's been such a long video. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you have made it to this part of the video, please make sure that you like it for me to let me know that I am doing okay. First option is the classic Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss. I was thinking maybe even if I don't have this be the first when it's Dr. Seuss's birthday, to be able to show that one. Some of these books are, all these picture books are from free little libraries, and so they might need a little extra tender love and care, as I can see that some of them have some special rips in them. This is another classic, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. This one would definitely need to be cleaned up once I get to read it. This one's more on the same level as that, If You Give a Pig a Party. I haven't read this one. I've only read the mouse one, obviously, from when I was a kid. And then lastly, and I'm thinking this one might be the winner for February, Polar Bear, What Do You Hear? And this one was very loved and definitely used to belong to somebody, as somebody's little note is here in the beginning. So please let me know down below if you liked any of these books, if you read any of these books, if you have any recommendations or any thoughts for the new channel. I would greatly appreciate it. We are now at the end of the video. Thank you so much for joining me on this very long February TBR video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Make sure that you like and subscribe down below if you would like to see more book contents like this. Also, if you would like to join my kid-friendly new channel, Miss Hannah's Reading Corner, please click the link down below and go subscribe to that channel before even videos start getting released on it. I still have a few things that I need to incorporate into the channel before I can even launch it, but I have until February 14th, Valentine's Day, to share things with you guys. So turn on the bell notification for whenever I post videos. I post them either on Saturdays and Sundays, and I will be getting the schedule out for the second channel once I develop the rest of the building for it. And that's it. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and Goodreads. Links are down below. And I will see you guys in my next video.